Welcome to the deep dive. So, you want to learn a new skill, right? Quickly, efficiently. You don't want to spend, years buried in a textbook. You want the shortcut.
Of course.
Well, today, we did a deep dive into a guide that's all about mastering English at home.
And what's really fascinating here is how this source just completely flips the script on language learning. I mean, we all think it has to be these grueling hours, right?
Yeah, the complex grammar drills, the pressure.
Exactly. But this guide, it emphasizes simple, consistent exposure over that kind of intense, once in a while effort. It's all about building a sustainable habit.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We pulled out 5 foundational strategies. They're all low effort, but really high impact.
Right.
Our mission is to give you the blueprint for creating that immersive environment, getting into active practice, and this is the big one, mastering the mindset you need when you're learning on your own.
Yeah, we're basically stripping away all the complexity so you can start applying these things like today. The core message is that fluency isn't from one huge push.
It's the small things.
It's the cumulative result of hundreds of tiny, enjoyable inputs.
All right, let's start with theme 1, creating that immersive, low-stress environment. And this is about integration, not, locking yourself away. So the very first piece of advice, we're calling it tip 1, is to make English a subtle part of your day-to-day life.
And this is, it's so much more powerful than it sounds. The whole idea is to integrate the language into your routine, the stuff you do without even thinking.
And the examples are things you can do right now, like change your phone's language to English.
Yeah.
Listen to English music. Watch a few short videos every day.
That's it.
That's it. It's not formal study time. It's background noise that, over time, starts to make sense.
Well, this daily small exposure is so vital because the goal isn't to translate everything immediately. It's just, it's about helping the brain get used to the language.
Conditioning it?
It's conditioning. Like if your phone is in English, your brain is just passively picking up the rhythm, the vocabulary. It's crucial background work that makes the real learning so much easier later on.
It's basically immersion with training wheels. You're not trying to, read Shakespeare. You're just trying to figure out where the settings menu is.
Exactly. And that little interaction repeated over and over, it teaches your mind to see patterns without that anxiety of a formal test. Precisely. And this leads us right into the third strategy, which tackles a huge blocker for anyone starting out. That's
tip 3, right? Information overload. The moment you decide I'm learning English,
right,
you see thousands of books and courses and you freeze.
Yeah, that analysis paralysis, it kills motivation. And this guide just says, look, you do not need difficult or complex books to start. In fact, it tells you to stay away from them.
But that does raise a question for me. If the advice is to start with simple stuff, short stories, podcasts for learners, am I not sort of handicapping myself?
How so?
Well, I'm not hearing how real people actually speak.
That's a fair point, but the source's priority is sustainability. The key insight is that if something feels too hard, you should pick easier content and just enjoy the process.
Okay.
The second learning feels like a chore, you stop doing it. Enjoyment is what drives consistency.
So we have to ditch that whole idea that struggle equals progress.
You have to. In language learning, just consuming content you can actually follow and enjoy is progress. Reading 3 simple stories is so much better than fighting through one complex text that just makes you want to quit.
Oh, they completely reframes the whole effort.
Yeah.
And it takes us right into theme 2, action, consistency, and the 15-minute rule. So tip 2 is all about active practice. This is where a lot of us get stuck, right? We wait for that perfect tutor or language partner before we actually say anything.
And this guide says, forget all that. The steps are so simple. Talk to yourself, describe what you're doing, repeat sentences you hear out loud.
I like that. It removes the biggest source of pressure, which is, being judged by someone else. It's a safe space to rehearse.
And think about the outcome. Speaking out loud builds confidence and fluency. It's so critical because it connects what you hear with the physical act of speaking.
The motor function.
Right. If you only practice in your head, your mouth isn't trained for the sounds of English. Just describe walking to the sofa. I am walking across the carpet. It sounds silly, but you're activating those muscles.
And if you say carpet wrong, who cares? You just correct yourself and try again. That instant feedback loop with 0 emotional baggage, that's powerful.
It's the perfect low-stakes lab. And that brings us to the most important piece of all, tip 4, the power of consistency. The entire guide really hinges on this.
Consistency over volume.
Yeah.
The source gives a comparison that should just be your mantra. 15 minutes a day is better than 2 hours once a week.
And if you look at the bigger picture, this is all about spaced repetition. 15 minutes every day just leverages the power of frequency.
Yeah.
You're telling your brain every single day that this information is important.
Move this to long-term memory, please.
Exactly. Whereas that 2-hour marathon session,
Yeah.
it's a huge cognitive dump, and then there's a 6-day gap where you forget everything.
So you spend half of the next session just relearning.
You do. The brain loves routine. A consistent 15 minutes a day feels manageable. It becomes a habit. And once it's a habit, the motivation battle is pretty much won.
Okay, moving into our final theme, the psychological side. Theme 3, the mindset of learning. This is where so many people quit. And it's not about time or talent. It's about one fear.
The fear of failure, of course, which is tip 5. Embrace imperfection. This is maybe the biggest hurdle for learners, that anxiety of sounding weird or making a mistake.
And the source material is so clear on this, it gives you the permission you need. It just says mistakes are a natural part of learning.
You have to reframe them. Mistakes aren't failures, they're data points. The guide says every mistake helps you improve and move forward. If you never try to use a new word because you're scared, you're not learning, you're just staying safe.
The mistake is the signpost. It's the point where you find the edge of what you know. It's a sign that you're actually pushing yourself.
And what's really interesting is that the source explicitly says to be kind to yourself. If you get angry every time you make an error, you create this negative feeling around practicing English.
Which guarantees you'll quit.
Guarantees it. Being kind just means accepting that feeling awkward is temporary, and it's totally necessary for growth.
That mindset shift it's everything. You're moving from, I failed, to, okay, my brain now knows that's not the right way, and I know what to focus on next. So what's the big picture here? We've gone through this guide, and the message is crystal clear. Smart, sustainable, consistent effort beats massive, rare bursts of intensity every single time.
We basically laid out 5 pillars you can use right now. 1, surround yourself with English in small ways, tip 1. 2, speak every day, even to yourself, tip 2. 3, keep your resources simple so you actually enjoy it, tip 3. 4, be consistent. That 15 minutes a day rule is your standard, tip 4. And finally, be kind to yourself. Embrace the mistakes, tip 5.
And these 5 steps really build the confidence that learning English at home without burning out is completely possible. It's about habits, not tests.
And that leads to one final thought for you to explore. If we know mistakes are essential for improvement, how can you design your 15 minutes of practice to actually encourage them?
To seek them out.
Exactly. Instead of trying to be perfect, maybe you deliberately try a new, difficult grammar rule you know you haven't mastered. Note where you stumble. Turn the error itself into a measurable step forward. Make the mistake the goal. Something for you to think about as you start your 15 minutes today.